Good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully, we're getting everybody logged in. You are, I hope, here to learn how to create your very own class app on Google Slides. So that is the session that we're doing today at 1 o'clock. So hopefully everybody's getting logged in here, and we're going to go ahead and use the same slide deck that we've used for a number of other trainings. So when you look at it and you see this giant slide deck, don't be intimidated by that. We're only going to look at one portion of it, but here's the bit.ly address right up here, and I believe Kristen is helping us out today. She's going to put that in the chat for you as well. While our last friends are getting logged in and our timer is up, I just want to introduce myself really quickly. My name is Carrie Kunert, and I'm a member of our digital curriculum team, and I'm going to be leading this session today, and it's actually a really nice it'll be fun, I think. I got an opportunity to play with this last night, and I think it's going to be really useful and something that will really help communication with your students and parents. So, and plus it's just fun. So it's like something that's fun. So my friend Kristen McCartney here, pictured on the right, is going to be helping us with the chat. So if you have questions, you are certainly welcome to slide those into the chat, and I will do my very best to get all of those addressed. So I want to make sure everybody has gotten logged in here. And we do have quite a few people in this training. So I'm going to try my best to go slowly, but I also want to make sure to respect your time and be done as close to 1:45 as possible. So if you're just joining us, I realize this is a ridiculously huge slide deck, and obviously you would never present information like this, but I made it this huge so that it would be a resource to come back to. So there are a number of different Google classes being taught out of this same slide deck. So if you have access to it, my gosh, it would take probably a month or two, but there's so much stuff in here that you can explore at your leisure. I'm going to slide on down here. I did want to let you know that we are recording this because other people can watch later at another point in the year or this week or whatever. So if you don't mind helping us out really quickly, we are planning our technology sessions for the next, we've got them planned for pre-service. But beyond that, if you have a technology session that you would really love to have offered during Wednesday this year, if you don't mind just typing that topic in the chat, right? Like, I'd really love to learn how to fill in the blank, and go ahead and slide that in there if you have one. If not, no big deal, but it really helps us in our planning. So we are recording, and questions in the chat, and I think I'm going to go ahead and jump on in here. Now, you'll notice on slide 5, there is a table of contents for some of the different classes that we've done. So we taught a basics class during PD on the Patio, and the anytime link is down here below, as well as the recording is live up on YouTube. Same thing with intermediate, and same thing with advanced. They were pretty much overview courses. So today we're going to dive into creating a class app specifically. And you'll notice it's more than halfway down on the advanced menu down here, creating a class app. If you click on that in the table of contents, it's going to slide you all the way down to slide 72. So you can either scroll your way down or use that table of contents to get to slide 72, and it's way bigger than that. We'll go ahead and start there. All right, friends, what we're going to do today is we're going to attempt to make a class app. Now, it sounds fancy. It sounds like we're actually creating an app, but it really is just a Google slide that we are designing in such a way that it mimics an app. And when you save it onto your phone, it actually does act as an app would, where you can touch buttons and it takes you to specific things. But it's so much easier to set up. So that is our goal for today. And on slide 72, there are tutorials, and I walked myself through these first ones here on how to do this. And if you want to watch those later, you're welcome to. So I'm sliding down to slide 73 now. And I want to just kind of show you what we're going for here. So this right here on the left, and you can click it if you'd like to. I'm going to go ahead and just open it up. This is my example of an app, and obviously it's not completely finished, but you get the idea. So one of the things that you'll notice is because I'm opening it on a computer screen, it appears to have black space on the left and on the right. If I was opening this up on my phone, I wouldn't see that black space around it. It would just be this image right here. So I've put buttons on here. So when a parent, right, pretending this is on your phone or your tablet or whatever, if you click on contact, it takes you to simply a Google Slide page, but with contact information, right? Obviously would be listed there. I put a home button for navigation so they can always make their way back to the home page. These buttons here, completely up to you. What are the links or the information that you'd want your students and or parents to have accessible all the time? Right? Like maybe it's today's schedule, what the basic schedule is of the day. Maybe it's kind of a meet you information to kind of find out about you. Right? Links to book creator, tech support from the district, your class newsletter through SMORE that they can access here. So this is just my example for all the different things that you could put on there. Even created expectations for Zoom, right? So they know what's expected of them. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to close this guy out, but you're welcome to play around there. That is what we're going to attempt to build today. Not attempt, that's what we're totally going to build today. Slide 74, if that feels daunting to you and you're like, create that whole thing, I did want to let you know that Slides Mania has a template ready to go that you are certainly welcome to explore. If you just click on this, I put the link there for you. It is a class app and they have all kinds of things. Let's see here, birthdays and contact and links. And anyway, that guy is done if you want to check that out. I also included for you some templates that teachers have already created. So I'm on slide 75. All three of these are things that you can touch, and I have included for you, they've already given you their totally built out template. So one thing that's fabulous about that is if you're feeling like you're already maxed out and building this is just too much for you right now, you could simply grab one of theirs and just modify it to make it your own. So I stuck 3 examples there. Another thing you can do is maybe you just love one of the pieces of clip art or icons that they used. You can grab it from there as well. So these guys are done, ready to go. On the next page, I just have some examples of how other teachers did it. And I think it's just helpful. It helps me to look and see like, oh my gosh, I love how she did that. I love how the color scheme was. Oh, I hadn't even thought of having a button for Right Star Student. Okay, that's a great idea. Maybe I could do that, right? So I think it's helpful to explore. And there is a Facebook group that's called Bitmoji Craze Classroom. Anyway, I became a member there and there are a ton of people sharing their class apps on there, so you can get more ideas for inspiration. Okay, slide 77 is your go-to. Slide 77 is going to be my go-to as well as we're building here today. This is the list of steps that we're going to do to create your own class app. I'm going to go ahead and start walking through them, and I'll try my best not to go too quickly. But the steps are right here if you get lost or want to hop back here or refer to it later. Okay, my friends, we are going to get started. We just need to open up a blank Google slide. So however it is that you go about accessing Google Slides.
Okay. Carrie,
yes, ma'am.
Would you suggest that people have 2 different windows open so that they can be watching your screen as well?
Oh, that would be a fabulous idea. I love that.
Awesome,
yeah,
thanks.
You can toggle back and forth. You can do a split screen so you can see me and you can build as well. Or if you're watching on video, you can pause me and then go do that step and then come back afterwards. Okay, friends, I'm going to open up a brand new Google slide. I'm hopping to my drive. This is how I open a Google slide. Brand new, blank, nothing on it, Google slide. You always usually open up this template thing on the right-hand side. I don't know why, but usually that's there and I like to get rid of that. Okay, I'm gonna the themes. I'm getting rid of the themes. Okay, we have a nice blank slide ready to go. You'll notice that it's in more of a landscape format, and I'm just gonna get rid of these 2 text boxes on here. I don't want these titles. So I select it and I make sure that my cursor is on it near the top there, and I can just delete that out of our way. Okay, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and get our page set up. We want it to be more like the dimensions of a phone. So I'm gonna go over to File, I'm going to pull all the way down to page setup. After you do that, it's going to give you this like all these different options under page setup. We're going to go down to custom. And this is super helpful when designing any sort of slides, whatever size you want it to be. I've been using it a lot lately to make canvas buttons, and I make it like nice and small because I don't really want small buttons designed. So in our page setup, we're going to set the page to be 9 inches by 14 inches. So 9 inches by 14 inches. And then make sure it's on inches and go ahead and click apply. When you do, it's automatically going to turn your screen into the dimensions of most mobile phones. So we should have a nice vertical rectangle here. Okay. The next step is we're going to need to find a background that we like. And you can look at those slides for some of the examples. I'm going to open up a separate tab up here just to grab some images. So I typed in phone background, and when you type in a phone background, it's going to give you it already set up in that nice vertical rectangle. So I typed in phone background watercolor. That's just the one I'm going to work with, but you are welcome to type in whatever works for you. I thought the one that had the cute little brick wall behind it, that would be kind of a fun one. So as soon as you find something that you like, I use my desktop as my like go-to, my little place to store things. So as soon as I find one I like, let's pretend I love this one right here, I literally drag it to my desktop. I drag it over there on the right and I release it, and it sits over there for me. It makes it easier for me when I'm coming to grab things that I just know it's sitting right on my desktop. Okay, so I grabbed the little watercolor thing I like. You can always change it later, so you don't have to spend too much time searching around. I'm gonna go back to my phone app, and I'm gonna go to the background. So it's this button up here at the top that says background. I'm going to select background, and it's going to ask what I want for my background. You could choose just to make it a color, right? And pick just a solid color on the back. I'm going to pick this choose an image. So I'm going to select choose an image. You can also search the internet here if you'd rather. If you have something in your Google Drive you'd rather do, or a photo. I'm going to go ahead and upload it. And I love this feature that lets me drag it. It makes my life easier. So I just slide this over, and I'm going to grab that. And I'm just going to drag it. As soon as it turns blue, I know that it has received it, and it is going to magically pop in my background. Now you have an option right here to add this to your theme, and that's going to say that every single page you create has this background on it. So you can do that. I'm going to choose not to because sometimes I may want to leave an all white screen. So I'm just going to say done. So there we go. We have a background ready to go for our app. And again, you can always change that. You're in the middle of creating your app and you don't love it, you just go back up to background and you can replace it. Choose a different image and replace it. So you can pick a color, you can pick an image. For now, just get something on the back of your background right there. And I realized I didn't title my presentation. I probably should have done that. So I'm gonna go Carrie's class app, just so it has a title. Beautiful. All right, that was step 1. Boom, already done with that. That was step 1, 2, and 3. We're already on step 4. Step 4 is to insert a shape. And you have options on how to insert things. Up here at the top menu, you can insert and you can pull down to shape and grab the shape that you want. There's also this cute little guy here. He's a circle and a square. So it's kind of a quick shortcut to grab a shape. So I'm going to grab a shape, and the shape I'm going to grab is a rectangle. You could make a rounded corner rectangle or something. This is just going to be this place where I'm going to be able to see all of my buttons. So I'm going to drag not all the way at the top, not all the way to the bottom. I just clicked and I drug so that it created that rectangle in the center of my space. So that's just going to be like my working area where I'm going to put all my buttons for my class. Now, right now, you'll notice that it's filled with gray, and that is this cute little paint bucket right here that looks like it's spilling over. It's called the fill color. I'm gonna change my fill color from gray to white. I'd like it to have a nice, crisp white background. But again, if you have a color scheme or a vision there, you are more than welcome to change it up how you'd like. Another thing I'm gonna change is the border. So you'll notice just to the right there, I have the border color, which is already black. That's what I'd like to have on mine. I have the border weight right next to that. And the border weight, I want to make it substantial enough so it seems like a nice thick border. I'm going to put an 8 on there. Yeah, I like that. That works for me. So I have a nice working space right there that I'm going to be able to put all of my work on. Okay, so far so good. All right, we have the beginnings. We're going to go ahead and add a title up at the top. And it's the same concept. We're going to add a shape. So I'm going to go back to my shape menu, pull down shape, and I'm going to grab another rectangle. And I'm going to put a rectangle up at the top here. And totally up to you, but I'm going to elect to go back to that fill color, and I'm going to fill mine in with black. So I have a nice bold title up at the top. All right, I like that shape. I want to fill it with obviously my title. So I'm going to go over here to this cute little thing that says text box. And I'm going to just draw myself a little text box. Now, the very first time I draw this text box, it's always going to go with black writing. So sometimes I'll put it over to the side here. And if you haven't utilized this side space is awesome. Kids can't see the side space, or when you present, they can't see what's over here. So I use it as a working area all the time. All right, so I'm going to add my title, and mine's going to be Mrs. Kunnert's Class App. I'm just typing in my little title there, and it looks super crazy tiny.
Leave her alone. No, go down from the chair. Honey.
Uh-oh, someone's in trouble. All right, we're going to go ahead and right now that text is black. If I slide it right there on the top of my title, it's going to be black and I'm not going to be able to see it. It'll be there. So I'm going to go ahead and make it a specific color. So I'm highlighting that text and I'm going up here to the letter A, and beneath that it has showing that it's black. And instead of black, I'm going to, oh goodness, for right now, I'm just going to make it white, but you can pick whatever color you want. Now you'll notice it was hard to see over there when it's white. When I get my little crosshairs, I can drag it over there. Oh, there we go. Much better. We can see it. Now I'm not loving this font. So I'm going to select my writing again, and instead of Arial, I'm going to pick something more interesting. Gloria Hallelujah, that sounds good. And I'm going to make it much bigger. Right, you can pick whatever font works for you. You can drag this text box to be wider so it fits your space. I would love mine to be centered. So I can select the text, and there's a tool right here that is your alignment tool. Right now it's showing that everything is aligned to the left. I'd prefer it to be centered. So I'm going to grab the second option, which is to center it. And I often grab this one right here, and this one means it's centered vertically as well. It will be in the middle of that box. So it pretty much is. All right, I'm liking it. I think I want my name to be bigger than the bottom, so I'm going to make my name bigger. Might make my name a different color if I wanted to. Ooh, fancy, looking good. Mrs. Kunnert's Class App, I love it. Let's see if I make it bold, is that gonna be even bigger? Well, kind of. All right, there we go. You have a title on there, and you can always mess with it later, but you get the idea. So we have a title, we have the space for our work. All right. Our next step is going to be to make circles or squares or rounded rectangles or whatever that you're going to want underneath your buttons, right? That you're going to want to look as if there's something that someone can click. I'm going to pick circles. You're welcome to pick a different shape. So again, I'm going up under shapes, and I'm going to choose the circle icon this time. And I'm going to go into my space, and I'm thinking I'm going to do like a 3x3 grid. I'm going to have 9 buttons, but again, you can look at some of those examples. Some teachers had different ones. So I'm going to release, and in my mind, I'm kind of thinking I can probably fit 3 of those across, right? I'm just sort of eyeballing it. So I think 3 of those are going to fit across. I can slightly move them. Let's see here. I'm going to make this sky black. I'm going to fill him with black. And I make sure that the border is also in black. So let's make sure that's in black. Okay. Ooh, I like that. Nice and bold. I'm going to save myself time, I need to make sure that 3 are going to fit across if it's the correct size. So I'm going to use the keystroke command using your command key. Once it's selected with its blue border around it, I'm going to say Command D. The letter D is in dog, and that will duplicate it. So it made a circle the exact same size. So I don't have to worry about, did I make it the exact same size when I make a new circle? So there are these awesome alignment tools. I don't know if you can see when I'm moving him around. As soon as I get him centered on that title, you'll notice that a red line goes through the middle of my circle. So now I know that that one truly is aligned in the center. You'll also notice that there's a vertical red line that appears. So that is showing me that it is in line with that other circle. I don't have much space in there, so I don't love that. I think I'd love to have this guy moved over a smidgen. There we go, that looks better. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna make one more circle. Now, if for some reason you drew your circle too big, you can certainly go back and make a smaller one. Let's see here. When I slide this guy over, I don't know if you can see those little, they look like H's, little blue H's at the bottom. What that is showing me is that the space is the same between the circle on the left and the circle on the right. So if I let that go, he has the same space here as here, but I don't have him lined up. So I'm in space. Oh, there we go. I got that little red line. Boom. Now I know I have equidistant space here and here between the circles, and I know that he is lined up. I use those little tools to make sure things are lined up over and over and over again. Now I know these three circles are lined up with each other beautifully. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold the shift key and I'm gonna select all three. So I hold the shift, I click on one. While I'm holding the shift button, I click on the second one and the third one, and you'll notice that all three are selected. I'm doing this because I don't wanna do that spacing again because I'm lazy. So I'm gonna do, oh no, never mind, I'm efficient. So I'm gonna do Command D to duplicate, and you'll notice that all three of these circles are duplicated. I am sliding them down until, let's see, do I like that? Oh, that looks pretty good. Good spacing, maybe a little bit more. You'll notice that center line is showing me that they're in the middle. If I click out of here, they're gonna become three separate circles. So I wanna move them exactly where I want them while they're still all connected, right? So if I accidentally click out, you'll notice that they're not connected anymore. I can't move them all together. I wanna do it one more time. So again, I'm gonna hold down Shift. I'm gonna select all three of those guys and I'm gonna duplicate them. And I'm gonna make sure they're lined up in the middle. And ooh, I got those little helper lines. See those little blue helper lines that are telling me that I am lined up? Awesome. Okay, that looks like pretty good spacing. Now, I don't love that my, oh, never mind. It actually needs to move to the left. I don't love that my rectangle, you'll notice, isn't quite long enough. So I'm gonna make sure that I get the blue lines on the rectangle, and I'm just going to grab that blue button at the bottom and I'm gonna make my rectangle a tiny bit bigger, right? Boom. All right, I have space right now for 9 links, 9 pages in here, if you will. Okay, hopefully, Kristen, are we good so far?
Yes, Carrie, only feedback if you're able to slow down a smidgen, I think it would be appreciated.
Okay, I will try. I might have to go beyond a minute or 1:45 if I slow down.
I know.
But I will try. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so there we go. We have the basics of our home page set. And by 1:45, maybe I'll show you how to do it, but you probably won't have all the buttons done, but we'll get the idea. Okay, so we are ready to go. Now we need to have some cute, we need to decide what the buttons are for, and we need to have cute icons or something, right? It always helps if you have something visual for people to be able to touch. So if you look back, and I'm just gonna click back here for us on some of the examples. Let's see here, they have like Bitmojis, and there's little clip art, and people put links, and some people do like icons, right? And icons are just sort of pretty kind of plain Jane, right? Like this one here on the right, those are just icons where she's done a calendar and she has all kinds of things in there in terms of icons. Now, I did want to show you in the notes here, I gave you some options. I'm on slide 77. One of them is flaticon.com, and I linked it here for you in step number 5. So you can go there to find some icons if you're interested. Some people asked about add-ons, and there are add-ons that work as well. And how your add-on menu works is you have it right here at the top. There are all kinds of things that you can add on. They're just like sort of functionality to add to your slides. And one of the ones that I've added on are this thing called Icons by Noun Project. So I'm just gonna open it really quickly. In order to add an icon, you go down here to get add-ons, and you would type in Icons by Noun Project, and it would be added to yours. There's another one here, Insert Icons for Slides. So I've typed those, I think, on slide 78 for you, so you can see the names of those two. So how that works, kind of nice, it's just right inside of here, and it's off to the right. So you say that you want a specific icon, and you just type it in and it searches for you right here. So, right, like let's pretend I wanted, I don't want to log in right now. I wanted a phone, right? I want to find a phone icon. And I type in phone, and it's going to find cute little phone icons for me right here, which is kind of nice that I can just grab this. I just touch it and it can slide right into my work for me. So that is one option that you can do. Flat icon is a website, so we can do that one too. You don't have to worry about add-ons or anything right there. So let's do that. I'm going to hop back to my app that I'm building, and I'm just going to go to a web page here, and it's called Flat Icon. Now you can also just do a search. If you would rather just search, you can find icons. Oops, I'm in images. You can find just like that through searching on the internet. The deal is you're going to want to have an icon that doesn't have any background behind it. And that's referred to as a PNG. And that just means it's clear behind, because I don't want to put something on there that has a big old white background. It's going to kind of ruin my black button. So let's pretend I'm going to do a contact page, and I'm just going to type in a phone. And they give me all these little phones, right? I don't want a black one because I know I'm going to put it on top of a black button in my specific example, but a green phone would work. You have all of these different options here. So you can grab the phone that you want, and you just have to select it, and you can just download it as a PNG. Free download. And it's going to save that little phone to my desktop. So I'm going to click save. So that is one place to search. You can also just search the internet and try and find those that have clear backgrounds or transparent backgrounds. To help you out in my slide deck, if you just want to play for right now and don't have to worry about finding icons, on slides 79 and 80, I put in a bunch of icons for you. So these guys are already transparent and they're already ready to go, and there are GIFs there as well. So you could just come to this little phone that I've already created for you, and you could just command copy it and move it over to yours. If you want to, for right now, just play with these buttons. So I wanted to make sure you knew that they were there. Pages 79 and 80 have buttons just ready to go for you, icons. Okay, I'm hopping back to mine, and I am going to paste in that phone. Boom, there he is. My cute little phone icon is on top of there. He's really too tiny for me, so I want to drag him to make him a little bit bigger. Now, I like that he's green. I like that he stands out. Maybe I could have picked something in my background color scheme, but whatever, that works for me. Now, the labeling of this is totally up to you. Some of the people I've seen have designed it where they have the title beneath in the white area. On mine, I put the title right on the button. So I'm just going to create a text box. And I am going to, again, I'm just going to build it over here, and I'm going to say contact. So this is going to be my contact information. I'm going to make it the same font as I did before. I think I did Glory Hallelujah, and I'm going to make it white as well, just so it stands out on that black background. The nice part is, once I get the font the way I like it, we're just going to duplicate it so that we don't have to keep doing this layout every single time. So I'm going to make it bold. I'm going to really work to make sure I love this font the way it is. I'm going to slide him up on my button here to see if he can be seen. Oops, I accidentally made the background white. That's not what I wanted to do. Let me fix that. We're going to go transparent. I meant to make the font white. Aha, that's what I wanted to do. Again, trial and error, seeing what you like, seeing what works for you. I always like to have my buttons centered. That's just a personal issue I have. Now it looks super tiny on here, but when you actually get it in your phone app, it's not gonna look that tiny. Okay, I have an icon, I have a label. That is basically the idea. We're gonna do that over and over again for all 9 or however many buttons you chose to set up. You're gonna have some sort of icon on there and some sort of label, unless you don't feel like they really need a label. Like some of them say the word Zoom on it, right? So you wouldn't necessarily have to have a label as well. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to move on, and I know you don't have all your buttons set up, but I want to make sure that you get all of the steps before the end of our time, and you can do the button part later. So the next thing we're going to need to do is that each one of these buttons is going to need to link to an actual page. So right now on our slideshow, we only have the home page. That's all that we have. So I'm going to take this home page and I'm going to make sure that I'm selected over here on the left. So I've selected it, I can tell because it has this little yellow bar around it, and I'm going to duplicate that entire slide. So I'm going to use Command D, and you'll notice that it just made an exact replica of that slide. So now I have two of them. I have my home page and I have what's going to be the first page of my slides. Okay, so if everybody has done that, next thing I'm going to do really quickly is I'm going to get rid of all of these circles. I don't really need all those circles on the rest of my pages, so I'm just going to select them and delete them. I'm just getting them out of the way. I don't need all this. This title is not going to be Mrs. Kunert's class app, so I'm going to get rid of that writing on the bottom. And instead of saying Mrs. Kunert's, it's going to be the contact page. So I'm going to make sure the top says contact. Because I like that icon, the visual, the phone, I'm going to take this text box and I'm just going to slide it a little bit out of the way over here on the right. And I'm going to take that same image that I used on the phone and I'm just going to drag it up here at the top. Again, this is how I like to lay mine out, but you certainly don't have to. So I'll have the title, I'll have the little image so they know that they're on that page. And now, you know what, I don't need this stuff either. I can delete all that stuff. Okay, boom. Now I have just a regular old page. This is going to be, once they click that front page and they jump to contact, this is where they're going to go. Now that I have it laid out the way I want to, I'm going to take this page and I'm going to duplicate it, and it's going to become all 9 of the other pages. So I'm going to duplicate it. Let's see here. I did it 2 of them, 3 of them, 4 of them, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I just duplicated that same slide 9 times. And I know they all say contact right now, but obviously we changed that up, right? And let me just grab some icons to make it fast. I'm going to grab an icon from that resource page I gave you. I'm going to go to the front here. I'm going to paste it in. And again, yours are going to be way cuter than this. Okay, so the second page is going to be, I don't know, something. Technology. There's this great website that the district has this whole site of technology help for families that I for sure would link in my page so I wasn't asked all those technology questions. Because I want this font to be the same, I can just take this little font box, text box here, and I can duplicate it because I don't want to have to do all that formatting again. I want my formatting to just match. I'm going to stick him over here and I'm going to type in support. I'm going to imply that they already can realize it's technology support, and so that'll be my page about that. So I have that little icon right there. While I have him copied, I'm going to go put him on page 3. And this isn't going to say contact. This, I'm going to put that same little icon over there. And it's going to say tech support, right? Whatever you choose to name your pages. I think the icon helps. Okay, how are we doing?
Good.
All good, everybody's done. Beautiful. I love hearing that. All right, now obviously you would take more time and you would create all of the rest of your pages on here, but I'm gonna pretend that we have done multiple pages and I'm gonna skip to the next steps so that you know what to do when is next. So you are welcome to keep building there or listen to me if you'd like to. Okay, this next part is important. When you're on an app, when you're on that little pretend app there, you don't want, in a normal slides presentation, if you click anywhere on the slide, it progresses you to the next slide. We don't want that to happen. We don't want them to move anywhere on this text slide. We want them to get the information. So what I'm gonna do is on every slide, every single slide, I'm gonna make a giant rectangle that covers the whole slide. And you'll see why I'm doing that. So I'm making a rectangle, and I'm covering the entire slide. Now it is gray automatically. I'm gonna go up here to my fill color. I'm gonna make it transparent. I don't want people to see that I have that on top. Okay, I'm also gonna make the border transparent. Now there is a like literally a transparency, right? Sitting on the top of this. And anytime they click on this page, they are going to be given whatever direction is on that transparency. So you can see I can move it over here. You can see the borders around it. I'm going to take this transparency. I'm going to move him up here. I'm going to link him. And I do that by going up here to this little link icon. I'm going to grab link. And I am actually going to link him to a specific slide in this presentation. I'm going to link him to the first slide. It seems redundant because you're already on the first slide, but follow me here. So you're going to click link him to slide 1. Once it says slide 1, you click apply. Now, I struggled with this initially, like what on earth are they talking about? Because when you are presenting, and let me just present, that's what we're going to do eventually. When you are presenting this and I click anywhere else, right? If I click over here, if I click up here, I don't want it going to the contact. That one did because I touched contact. I don't want it moving on. I just want it to stay on that first screen. So I need to make sure that I have it covered with that layer. So again, that was me just putting a layer on that linked it to its own page. Now we're going to need to do that on every page. So I'm going to go to the second page and I'm going to do the same darn thing. Now you could go up here, grab a shape, make a rectangle, same thing. Cover up this dude all the way to the edges. I'm going to go up and I'm going to make sure that he is transparent and his border is transparent. And once I've built him, I'm going to slide him up here just because it's easier to link him. I'm going to link him and I'm on page 2. This contact is page 2. So on this one, I'm going to link it to slide 2. So I'm going to slide that back on top. And the reason I have to slide it out of the way is just because you don't have enough space down here to do the linking that you need to. So, okay, I've linked him to page 2. So when my users click anywhere on this page, they're not going to be moved through the app, moved through the slideshow. Let's go to tech support and let's do the same thing here. I'm going to create a slide, a rectangle, boink, a rectangle, beautiful. And I'm going to make him transparent. Transparent, transparent border. And I'm going to slide him up here and link him. I'm going to link him and he is page 3. So I am linking him to page 3. This step, when I was learning how to do this, I thought this seems kind of silly that you have to do this step, but it does make sense once you publish it. Okay, so I have these pretend layers and I really only have my first 2 pages functional right now to link to something. All right, so I have, and you can tell, oh yes, I have it. You can kind of check and slide it over. Yep, I did remember to put that one on this page. Okay, now I have all of those little guys in place. Now what I want is I want my user to be able to touch this technology support. I want them to be taken to the tech support page, but then they need a way to get back to that home page. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start on page 2 and I'm gonna create a home button. And I'm going to create that as an icon. And let's see here. Do I have an icon? Of course not. That would be too simple. Too simple. So let's see here. I'm going to find a home icon. And I'm going to go out to that flat icon. You could just do the website. I'm going to find a cute little home. You could make your home button a circle that says the word home. You could just write the word home. Whatever. Okay, there's a cute house. I like this little house right here. I have a cute little black house. I'm going to download it as a PNG. Yes, free download, please. Thank you, I appreciate that. Oh yes, my home, I'm saving it to my home. I saved my home button to my home, that's kind of funny. All right, I'm gonna go back into my app. On page 2, I'm gonna add that cute little home. Where'd he go? He's thinking, there he goes, sliding him in to be my home button. Now, he appeared way too big. I definitely don't want him that big. I'm going to minimize him. Okay, and I'm going to use that guideline to make sure he's in the center. Perfect. All right, I have a tiny little home right there in front. Now, I'm going to make sure that this is kind of complicated a little bit. It has to do with layering. So I want whatever is on the top is what I'm going to be able to touch, right? So I have this because I added him last. I know he is on top of that transparent layer, if that makes sense. If you're ever clicking and you're like, why is this not working? Chances are it's underneath the transparent layer. So the transparent layer is like protecting everything from being able to be clicked. You want the things on top of it that you actually want to click. So I want this home button to be clicked. And because I added it last, I know that it's there. I'm going to link this home button. I think I do have to slide him up to link him effectively. I'm going to click link, and I want to connect him to a different slide in this presentation. I want to connect him to the first slide. All right, I'm going to click apply. When I touch this link, now I can slide him back and make sure he's lined up. When I touch that, it will take me back to the home page. What is great about that is, guess what? I want that same button on every single page. So all I have to do is copy this, and that is Command C. And when I go to my other pages, I'm going to paste it, which is Command and the letter V as in Victoria. I'm going to click V. And beautiful part is it pastes it right in the same spot that I had it, and it's already linked for me. So efficient, lazy me would just go through and do the same thing on all these pages, right? If I had all these pages set up ready to go, which I didn't take the time to do, but you get the idea. Once yours are set up beautiful, this is, again, this step is after you've done that transparent layer. You're going to go through and stick little homes, cute little homes on all of your pages. All right, everybody has a home, beautiful. Now I'm going to go back to the first page. Now you'll remember I put a template, I put a transparent layer over the top of this first page, which means when I click anywhere, it's not actually going to take me to where I want to go. So what we have to do is the same idea. As we did this transparent layer, making sure that you can't just, it won't just progress. Slides naturally just progress to the next slide. We don't want that to happen. We want them to go to the button we're specifying. So on top of all those buttons, I put that transparent rectangle. On top of that transparent rectangle, I'm going to put a shape. And because these are circles, I'm going to put a circle. So I'm going to create for myself a little circle. And I am going to draw this little circle. I'm going to put him right on top of there, right? If I click anywhere in this circle, I'm going to be taken to whatever it says here. Right now it says slide 1 is not where I want to go. When I touch contact, I want to go to slide 2. So I'm going to go over here to this little pen, which is my edit. I'm going to edit, and I'm going to change this. I'm going to X this out, and I'm going to say, I want to be able to go to slide 2. And I'm going to hit apply. So obviously you don't want to be able to see that I've put that circle on top of there. So we're going to change that to be transparent, but that's essentially what's happening. You have all your work underneath your beautiful buttons. You have the big rectangle layer that prevents them from clicking anywhere on there and just progressing to the second slide. And then you have the actual clickable things that you want on the very, very top. So I'm going to do that same thing. Let's see, I'm going to make him transparent. Transparent, and I'm going to make the border transparent so you can't see it. All right, there is a magical little circle sitting on top of here that you can't see. In order to save time, lots of times I'll duplicate that little imaginary circle. I'll slide it on top of my next one, and I will go edit that. When I touch tech support, I don't want to go to slide 2. I'm actually going to want it to go to slide 3. So this is just, you'd only have to do this the first time you set it up initially, and then it will work beautifully. So hitting apply. Okay, I only have 2 pages set up right now, but if I touch contact, it should go to my contact page. If I touch home, it should go home. So let's present and cross our fingers and hope that all worked beautifully. So there's my class app. When I touch contact, it takes me to the contact page. When I go down to the bottom of the contact page and touch home, it takes me home. If I click elsewhere on this link, right, unlike a regular PowerPoint, it won't, or a presentation, it won't progress. So that's why you have that big rectangle there. When I touch support, it takes me to support, and this takes me back home. So let me hop out of there. Yay, it's working. That's always a good sign when it's working. And obviously you would have all 9 buttons set up and ready to go. A nice splash of fun is to add your own Bitmoji, and Bitmoji is a phone app. and you can download it and create a fun little Bitmoji that looks like you. And if you want to add that, that is just an extension that you can add, and you can add your little Bitmoji to whatever you want it to do. So it pulls up, you get to decorate their hair and all their stuff. So you can grab yourself, slide yourself down here, and you can put yourself in buttons or whatever. In my example, I put myself on the front, and I didn't want all of me. I don't want my whole body there. I think I'll be in the way of this bottom button. So if I click twice on here, it gives me these, this darkened border where I can crop the picture right in there. So I'm just gonna maybe go up to my waist or so. And it does have a transparent background, so I don't have to crop too much, but I didn't want my whole body in there, my whole Bitmoji body. And when I click out, it will just give me that portion. So I can slide my little self here down on the, oh, great. I can design a button around that. That's not taking up too much real estate. So that's a way to get your little self on any one of the pages that you want in your app. Now I do see that I'm beyond the time, and I just want to show you the last part, the publishing part, and then I can answer questions. So I want to make sure that we get to the publishing part. And it's really important, and I even highlighted it for you on slide 77. So what we're going to do is we are going to publish it, and we're going to need this right here. This and RM equals minimal. That's like the special code that we're going to need to make this work. So I am going to show you how to publish now. Let's pretend we were all done, and you can go ahead and publish yours, but continue making edits on it and not really officially share it. So we're going to go over to File, and go ahead and do this with me even if you're not officially ready. It's fun to test it to see how it's looking so far. So you can go to File, pull all the way down to Publish to the Web, and this just makes a fancy, doesn't look like a slide deck anymore. It looks more like a web page. And for this one, it looks like a specific to those dimensions. We're going to touch Publish to the Web, and we're going to go ahead and click Publish. Are you sure you want to publish? Yes, I am. Thank you. Then it's going to create this web, this address right here. You're going to want to copy that, and that is Command C to copy it. So we're going to need to have that web address. Now, what I usually do is I paste it somewhere, and I'm going to paste it. Where am I going to paste it? Let's paste it right down here. I'll just paste it right in the speaker notes. I'm going to paste that big old long web address. Now at the end, mine has the number 3000. You'll probably have something similar to that. We need to add this to the end, and RM equals minimal. There should be no spaces. I'm just going to copy it from right here so I don't make a mistake. It's on slide 77. I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to paste that. Again, no spaces. And paste. I don't know why you're not pasting. That's not helpful to me at all. All right, so instead of that, I'm going to type it. And oh, for real, my computer's frozen. So you're going to type that in beautifully. You're going to type in those words right there. And RM equals minimal. That needs to go at the very end. And once that is at the end, that is your web address for your app. Come on, paste for me. All right, so he's being difficult, but here's my other one that I did. It's right here, and you'll notice I added that, and RM equals minimal. You can select that whole darn thing, and you can paste it into a new tab. So I'm gonna copy that, and I'm pasting it into a new tab to test drive it. And then you can see what it should look like as an app. And this helped me when I would get it set up like this. It helped me so that I was able to see where my problems were from a user's perspective, right? So I go, oh shoot, when I click this, it didn't take me home. Uh-oh, maybe my home isn't at the very top of my rectangle. So oh my goodness, I tell you, my old computer has finally, it's given up. It's giving up, friends. Well, you get the idea, right? You add that to the end of yours. Hopefully yours are all working spectacularly. That is the new web address for your class app. So that is the address that you can share with parents. I did suggest that perhaps you might want to do a bit.ly shortener. And if you click right here, you can take that crazy long web address and you can make it much shorter. And you can add your own custom text at the back where you say Mrs. Kuhnert's class app or whatever. So it's much easier for your parents to type in. I gave you On page 78, two things I didn't mention. I gave you this website right here where you can find PNG files. And again, those are pictures without the background, with a transparent background that make really good buttons. I also gave you this, those Zoom expectations, an awesome little slide that someone else created that you're welcome to include in yours as well. And I also gave you on page 81 directions for parents. So parents or students, right? If you are on an Apple device, this is what you're going to need to do. So I had my little bit.ly, it shortened my crazy long web address to something that I thought my families could maybe type in. There's the web address that they need to find it. There are directions if you're an Apple user, and there are directions for how to make it a homepage button. And I did that on my phone, and I just added it, and now it literally looks like I have my own cute little app. So I pull it up on my phone, and I don't know if you can see in there, but Mrs. Kunert little app is right there on my phone. It's the correct dimensions, and it allows me as a parent or a student, I need Zoom access, I need to know what the schedule is for today, I need whatever it is that you want to make sure your parents have at their fingertips right there ready to go for you. So I know that was a ton of information that I threw at you, and I know you're definitely not done, but hopefully you were able to get a good start on there and hopefully test yours out and see how it's looking. One thing that I didn't mention is if you want a link to be active on another page. So if I want to revise this tech support page, I can slide that invisible layer out of my way. I can type in there whatever on earth I wanted to type in there, right? So I could type something in a text box, text in here. I could make sure, and again, it looks super tiny on there and you can enlarge it all you want. I could also put an image or something that I wanted to be a link, right, besides just the page. So I'm pretending that I want this to link right to my Zoom. I'm just pretending for now. Okay, if I want this to link to my Zoom, remember, if I slide this transparent layer over it, right now, because I added it after the transparent layer, it is on the top. You can adjust what is on the top and beneath over here under arrange the order. So I can send things. It's always hard to imagine when they are transparent, but you have to layer things. So the thing on the very top is what I'm going to be able to touch. So right now, this thing is on the very top, so I will be able to touch it. If I want to make sure that this guy is back on the top, I just have to go to arrange, order, and I'm going to bring him to the front. Now he is on the front and nobody can click any of those things beneath there. If you wanted to have people click that one, see, like right now I'm trying to click it, I can't click the Zoom because there's a layer on top of it. Remembering that you can always go add any transparent buttons that you want on top of it. Or I could leave that Zoom icon on the top if I do want it to be able to be touched and linked by students. Oh my goodness, that was a whole lot of information I just threw at you, but hopefully that was helpful, and hopefully those resources there, again, it's a lot of trial and error, right? You try that, and I would try and I'd go back and I go, that's not working, why not? Oh, whoops, I don't have that as the top layer. So I had to keep checking myself, and I did that in that preview. Once I typed in that RM, whatever that is, it was able to preview it. Okay, Kristen, I know I did a lot and I'm beyond my time. Are there any questions I can help answer?
I think you covered layers. The only closing thought might be just how and why I might use this, and thinking beyond just using it on my phone. But I think you're good. I've got to head to the next one. Thank you, Carrie. That was awesome.
Yes, no worries. Hopefully that was helpful, friends. Oh, great. I'm signing in. Perfect. Perfect timing, computer. That's real world, right?
Carrie,
Yes.
I teach kindergarten, and so I'm wondering like how students, you might picture students using it with Seesaw, or would it just be something for parents?
Gosh, if I was teaching kindergarten and they're going to have iPads, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think that, are they accessing through Clever?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I want them to. We don't, we're still all learning everything.
Yes, I would assume that they are accessing through Clever. So any of the links that they would access through Clever, you don't have to worry about them having that. Trying to think of other things they would need access to. An iPad is ideal because you can have the Epic link and you can have Seesaw.
Right.
And,
So then do you think this isn't really necessary for?
And a nice thing maybe to have linked is like your Zoom login, right?
Okay.
So if your Zoom room that you always go to was one of the links that they had right there, like that would be awesome because they wouldn't have to toggle through, log in, like it would be to that Zoom room, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I did. So can I just use one Zoom room for every meeting?
Yes, you could. It's just the recording, right? So you have to figure out how, because you're supposed to be recording, right?
Right.
So I know some people were talking about just having a Zoom open all day long, which I understand with littles trying to log in and out. But the problem is then you have one long recording instead of a reading block or writing block, whatever. And I did play around with, if you kept that Zoom all day and you just hit start recording, stop recording, it still makes it into one giant.
Oh, really?
Yes.
We were hoping it made it into different ones.
Exactly. I was hoping that as well, but it makes it into one giant thing. So that's not very user friendly as well. So I know you have all those little breaks during the day.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. We were hoping kids could just turn off their video and walk away.
The only issue with that is for sure easier for kids, right? You put a cute little timer up back in 15 minutes and they can realize that it's that video part of the end that you're going to have. I don't know if anyone trying to imagine the kid who has to watch later and then has to watch 4 hours worth.
Yeah, no, that's tricky.
So it's like if they had that Zoom button like hot linked or on this app or something that was super easy for little kids to be able to touch it and hop right back in.
Yeah.
Then you could stop at the end of reading, right? You record that, you say that's reading for Monday, and then you start again at writing.
Okay. Okay, that's good to know. That would be worth the button.
Creating, yes. And I think for like parents, like the daily schedule, like if you're using Seesaw, there's really no place to like have some of this stuff, just some basic like overall class things. This is our schedule, right?
Yeah, we had your Google slide, I think you gave like a template. That's what we used last year. So I could see that linking to this. I was wondering if but kids don't need that.
No, not necessarily.
Yeah, because they're, they're 5. They don't really get, they
Yeah.
can read a schedule. Okay.
Yes, but if you had a class book creator, right, where we got book creator. So if you have your class book creator account and they can just touch that button and it takes them right to book creator.
And they wouldn't do that through Clever?
They could. Since we haven't had the district-wide book creator yet, I'm not 100% sure how the Clever connection will work. We don't have that set up yet.
Okay.
But any of those, like you want them to watch a certain video, Yeah.
Okay. Maybe more for parents, though, is what it's sounding like.
For littles, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. This was really helpful.
Good. You're welcome.
Hey, Carrie, could I ask? Oh, sorry.
No, go for it.
Just to thank, first of all, thanks. That was really great. I just had a couple of quick questions. The little text thing that you added at the end, I don't remember the rest of it.
Yes.
Do you put that in when you do the publish to the web? Does that need to be in that and RM equals minimal? Does that need to be in the web address where you do the file publish to the web portion?
No, so it's after you've published it to the web. So it is that that link that you get created when it's published to the web, and you literally you just add it to the end. And
what does it do? What's the purpose of it?
That's an awesome question. I think it takes, how normally Google has like the black bars across the top and bottom?
Yeah.
It eliminates those so that it does go to the size of a phone screen.
Gotcha. My other question is, I'm teaching 5th grade, so I'm going to have students primarily on Chromebooks, and I'm wondering, is this kind of the same principle that I've seen some teachers use to create like the Bitmoji classrooms, where there's just like, and could this work on a Chromebook where like there was just a class app on their Chromebook or a classroom app, and they could click on that and then open like the classroom app and then have all the links? Would this still work on a Chromebook, do you think?
It certainly would, but on a Chromebook, I don't know if it's necessary to make it that vertical alignment. On a Chromebook, I want it to be more like a Bitmoji classroom. I'd want it to be landscape so they have more access to the full screen. But I would still do publish to the web.
Yeah. Do you guys have any trainings on that? by any
Um,
chance?
no,
Like
not scheduled, but we could create one.
Okay, that'd be
Yeah.
one I'd be interested in.
Yeah, do you mind throwing that in the chat? We'll take that
Yep.
and create next Wednesday's menu.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question also. It goes along with his. After you said we could do the bit.ly shorter to make it easier for parents to type in.
Yep.
If we do that, or if we use the longer one, I got a little bit confused as far as where, if we only want the adults to have them like this information because it has, our work phone number or something, and you don't want kids calling it.
Yeah.
Would you recommend you like emailing, and then you said they would need to download an app, right?
No. So if you email them this entire deal, this whole new
Yeah.
that you added the RM equals minimal to the back of it, that is the link right there. There's no app to download. So
Okay, so they don't have to do anything with their Apple or their Android. When I saw that slide, I got a little bit confused.
yeah, that's
So
okay. So slide 81 is just showing them, and you could literally copy this and give it to them. So they type in whatever your thing is, or they link, right? If you email it to them, it's easy
okay,
to type it in. They link it, and that opens it up in their web browser, if that's Safari or if that's something else. And then it just shows them how to make that a home screen button. You can really link anything to a home screen button. And then it truly resembles an app. It just lives on their phone, and they can touch it and see your newsletters or whatever at any point.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you for answering the question.
You're welcome. Okay, friends, I think I'll go ahead and stop recording.